the question which we will discuss today, that is elucidate, elucidate, elucidate the role of the farmers, right? The farmers, empowerment and protection, protection and protection agreement on price assurance, and farm services Ordinance 2020 in facilitation of contract farming in India. In facilitation of contract farming in India, right? So this is your question today, right? So in this question, basically the main focus, as you might be seeing from the question itself, right, that will remain on the contract farming in India, right? And in that context, we will see that in what respect or to what extent we can see this ordinance, the Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement on price assurance and you can say on price assurance and farm services, right, will facilitate in contract farming in India. So there are two important, two main things in this question, right? And secondly, in this question, the term used is, we can say, elucidate, right? Elucidate. So when the term elucidate is used, right? Elucidate means make it clear, right? Elucidate means make it clear or discuss it, right? Elucidate means explain something, right? Explain something or make something clear, right? Make something clear. So this is the meaning of elucidation, we can say, right? So here in this particular question today, we have been asked to elucidate the role of this particular ordinance in the facilitation of contract farming in India, right? So how we will, you can say, manage the answer to this question. While answering to this question, we will take 2-3 things in mind, right? So first thing will be there, right? This question is of little different nature, right? So in this question, first thing we will clear, that is the contract farming, right? We will write about the contract farming, right? Because we will start with the introduction of the contract farming in this particular answer, right? Answer to this question. Secondly, we would need to write here that why need of this ordinance. Why need of this ordinance means, I can say it, you can say otherwise, right? Problems or challenges in contract farming in India. Challenges in contract farming, because there would be some need, right? That is why this ordinance has been promulgated by the president, right? Problems or challenges in contract farming. So that is the, you can say, second need of this answer, right? And in the third part of this answer, right, we will give a brief. We will give a brief introduction of the, right? We will give a brief introduction of the provisions of ordinance, right? Related with the contract farming, So we will explain those here, right? Related with the contract farming, right? And then we can say, next to this is the brief introduction. And then next to this, we will take, or we will discuss here, right? The, you can say, concluding part, right? The concluding part, because this is the only need of this, you can say, question, right? The concluding part, right? So here we need not to mention that whether it is good or bad, right? We need not to go for the value judgment, right? So in this particular answer, we need not to go for value judgment. I am just writing here, we need not to go for a value judgment, right? We need not to go for value judgment because we have been asked only, to explain, right? To explain the role of ordinance, right? In facilitation of the role of ordinance in facilitation of contract farming. We have been only asked, only this has been asked from us. So that is why we need not to go off the track due to this, you can say, particular thing, right? Due to this particular thing, we need not to go off the track, right? So first of all, in this particular answer, we will start with the contract farming, that what contract farming is, what is the meaning of contract farming, etc., etc., right? So can I delete it, Peter? Can I erase it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, because I have to read, you can say, write further. So beta, one thing is the contract farming, right? So as far as the contract farming is concerned, we will give a little, you can say, there will be two important things related with the contract farming, which I will mention here, right? Contract farming. Two important things we will write here, right? Contract farming, right? So one is the meaning of the contract farming. One thing we will mention here, that is the meaning of contract farming, right? Meaning of contract farming. Meaning. And the second thing we will mention here, we can say, that is the little, you can say, general background of this particular thing, general background, right, of this particular thing, general background. We will write these two, we can say, things in this particular answer here, right? So as far as the meaning of the contract farming is concerned, right, we will write here that, you can say, we will write here that contract farming right? Contract farming is carrying out. Contract farming is carrying out agriculture production is carrying out agriculture production, right, according to an agreement, between the buyer, according to an agreement between the buyer, right, between the buyer and the farmer, So this is basically contract farming, right? It means there are two parties in the contract farming. Let me elaborate it. You need not to do this in the examination, right? It is for understanding only, right? It is for understanding only, right? We can say that there are these two parties, right? And in these two parties, right, one party is the, you can say, buying firm, or the buyer, we can say. Let us write buyer here, right? And the second party is, we can say, farmer, right? The second party is farmer, right? So the two parties enter into an agreement, buyer and farmer, the two parties enter into an agreement, right? According to that agreement, the farmer will carry out the agriculture practice, right? According to that agreement, the farmer will carry out the agriculture practice according to the terms and conditions mentioned in an agreement between the two parties, right? So that means we can say a contract farming covers, right? So contract farming covers, right? It covers, number one, we can say that crops, okay? Ordinary crops, we can say. And it covers the cattle rearing also, right? We can say animal husbandry also, cattle rearing also, right? So that is also a part of contract farming, right? And third, it covers the poultry also, right? Covers the poultry also, fishery also, right? May cover poultry or fishery also, right? Fishery also. So and it may cover the, you can say, plantation crops also. So anything can be there, right? It may cover plantation crops also, right? Plantation crops also, right? Let's suppose, uh, Navreet's family is doing agriculture, let's suppose, right? So I entered into an agreement with Navreet's family that you can say, raise this particular crop for me, and I will purchase that crop from you at this particular rate, or at the rate which will be prevailing at the market at that time, or whatever it may be, right? So this is basically the contract farming, right? So it involves, it may involve anything, right? It may involve anything from from uh, from choosing a crop, right, to be sown, preparation of field, right? Preparation of field, right? To delivery of the harvested produce, to the buyer, right? So it may cover whole range of activities from even preparation of field till the delivery of the produce to the buyer. So anything it may cover, right? So is it clear up to this point, Peter?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Kamal, that day you asked from me about this, no?
Yes,
That
sir.
what is contract farming, right? So,
Hanji.
yes. So, yes, Nishank, what do you want to ask?
So you have written that it may contain one of the exercise. मतलब any इनमें से कोई सर एक भी हो सकती है या फिर सर सारी की सारी होनी चाहिए मिला के?
नहीं नहीं beta, basically it depends on the terms of the agreement, right? Okay, one thing is, right, the buyer may even suggest the entire course of action, line of action, that you can say how to prepare field, how to raise crop, okay, what type of inputs to be given, what quantity of input to be given, right? And what should be the distance between the plants, what should be the distance between the rows, right? And you can say at what times you can say fertilizer is to be given, right? At what times insecticide or pesticides needs to be given, at what times you can say irrigation is to be done, right? Or you can say after the harvesting, how to deliver the you can say produce at the you can say facility of the buyer. That can be there, right? Or second thing can be something you can say else also goes on, like you can say a farmer decide the crop, right? And they sow the crop, right? And after that, sometimes the corporates usually visit the fields. They, you can say, do the survey, right? And which field you can say they find is having, you can say, a good healthy crop, right? So they enter into contract with that farmer that you can say we will purchase the crop from you, right? So beta, it all depends on the, you can say, agreement between the two parties, that you can say what can be its range of activities, right?
Yes, sir.
And
It depends on the scope of the agreement.
yes, it depends on the agreement. So is it okay with that?
Yes,
So
sir.
yes, so next is the agreement. The agreement may include, right? The agreement may include. The agreement may include. What can be included in the agreement, right? Number one, we can say conditions for production and payment. That can be the conditions for production and payment. So that can be there, right? Number two, we can say there can be the conditions or terms regarding the marketing of farm produce, right? Marketing of farm produce, right? How it will be marketed, or it may contain the, you can say, uh, some services, right? Some services provided by the buyer. Some services which the buyer will provide. So it may contain that also, right? Some services which the buyer may provide, right? So in that you can say there can be, right? Let's suppose we can say the buyer may, you can say, provide the services like we can say inputs, right? Inputs, right? He may agree to provide the services like you can say technical advice or technical inputs, right? Technical advice or inputs can also be there, right? Or he may, you can say, provide, you can say, the services about the land preparation also, right? Land preparation, right? Land preparation also, and other, you can say, instructions or services also, right? Other instructions or services also, whatever may be required, right? Whatever may be required, right? Whatever may be required. So anything can be there, right? Right? You can say anything can be there, right? We can write here that some services which the buyer may provide, right? Which the buyer may provide. So there can be the wide range of services which the buyer may you can say provide, or the buyer can, you can say, specify also, right? So beta, this part of the this particular part of the answer you can skip from the skip in the examination, because this will increase the length of your answer, right? Because there is the limitation of the words also. Is it okay? So you need to mention the meaning of the this, you can say, contract farming, right? You need to mention the meaning of the contract farming. So beta, after meaning the the second thing I told you, that general background of the contract farming, or general introduction or general background, right, about the contract farming, because that will be helpful in understanding, right? So here in general background part, we can write, here in general background part we can write that contract farming is not new in India, right? So we can say contract farming in India is practiced from the ancient times, right? Even the sharecropping is also contract farming, right? Even the sharecropping is also contract farming, right? So it is practiced in India, right? It is practiced in India. It is practiced in India, you can say, since the ancient times. Palak, what is the problem beta to you? Hello?
सर मुझे ज़्यादा अच्छे से नहीं समझ आ रहा.
What is the problem so far? Tell me. Are you okay today?
Yes sir, I am okay. But sir कुछ points ना मुझे clear नहीं हो रहे.
Ask from me, na? Ask from me. What are the points? See beta. See beta. Take it very simple, right beta? Let's suppose beta, this is your agriculture field, right? Let's suppose. Try to understand beta, right? This is Palk's field, right? This is Palk's field, right beta? And let's suppose beta, I enter into contract with you, right? I enter into a contract with you, right? I means Sidhu, right? Sidhu enters into contract with you, right? According to the contractor, right? You can say we have decided mutually that you can say Palk would raise this crop on its field, right? Let's suppose Palk would raise potatoes on its field, right? Potatoes on its field. Is it clear up to this point?
Yes sir.
Okay, right? Palk would raise potatoes in this field, right? Right, and whatever the, you can say, the quantity of the potatoes would be produced by the Palak in her field, right? So that we can say entire produced will be picked up by Sidhu, right? That entire produced will be picked up by Sidhu, right? Okay.
सर मतलब आपने मतलब इसका मतलब जैसे आपने मुझे पर्सनली हायर कर लिया, अब आप मेरे लिए ही ग्रो करोगे ऐसे?
Yes beta, that is what we mean by the contract farming. Okay beta?
Okay sir, okay.
Yes beta, that is what we mean by contract farming, right? Beta, who is this 485's FC5B4? Who is this? Hello? Hello?
सर एक तो इंटेल वाला आज मेरा अदर फोन है परमजीत.
नहीं नहीं,
Title, sorry.
no. It is 485 FC 5B4.
No, sir, it's not.
Okay, beta, your voice is not coming. Send me a message, please. Right? Who is there? Please. So, beta, Palak, is it clear, beta? We have entered into an agreement, right? Palak?
यस सर, यस सर। सर फिर मतलब आप कोई मतलब मुझे स्पेशल वो दोगे मतलब फैसिलिटी कि मैं सिर्फ आपके लिए ग्रो करूंगी?
Beta, I am just telling you, beta. See, beta. This is a mutual agreement between you and me, right, beta? You will,
Yes, sir.
right, beta? You will need not to worry about the marketing now. Okay, entire produce of you will be you can say picked up by me from the market. From your field, right?
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes, yes.
Right? Wo beta, about the facilities, right? We will talk about later on, right? So just try to understand only this thing, that this is the contract farming, right? This is the contract.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Anybody else?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, right, beta. And beta, contract
Sir, basically
farming.
ये ठेके ही ਹੁੰਦੇ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਚ ਕਹਿ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ।
No, beta. It is not land on rent, beta. It is not land on rent, beta. If let me, beta, further clear it, beta. If this is the land of Gursimran, okay, beta, this is quite simple thing. You are not, I don't know, right? This is Gursimran, right, beta? One thing is, beta, X has taken Gursimran's land. X has taken Gursimran's land, right? Gursimran's land on rent, right? And now it is up to X. It is up to X, right? What to raise there? Right? How to raise there? Right? How to raise there? And X will undertake, right? And X will undertake the entire management, and we can say, and bear the entire cost of inputs, right? And will sold the entire produce, right, into the market, and we can say, and he will earn money, right? And he will earn money. So beta, this is, we say, theka. What you asked from me, theka. Theka means giving a land on rent. Is it okay?
Sir, contract farming ਚ ਆਪਾਂ ਜਿਵੇਂ seed agencies ਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ agreement ਉਹੀ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਨਾ?
Yes, beta. Beta, basically you have not seen much in the instances of the contract farming. Beta, let me you can say enter into the, you can say, answer na little bit further, right? So beta, everything will become clear to you. Beta, this is rent, right? Gursimran?
Yes, sir, it is clear.
Beta, in this thing, right? In this case, Gursimran is free, right? Gursimran is free. He need not to do anything now, right? This is the case of Keka, what you say. And beta, the second thing is, in beta, contract farming is, right, that you can say X makes Gursimran, right? X makes Gursimran to produce for him, right? To produce for him according to the needs of X, right? According to the needs of X. And you can say X himself will purchase the produce from Gursimran, right? Will purchase the produce from Gursimran, Is it clear, beta? So beta, in this case, Gursimran is not free, right? Gursimran is not free. He will work in his fields. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think still somebody must be in confusion. Tell me who is in confusion now. Hello. Tell me.
Clear, sir.
Clear, okay.
Clear, sir.
सर ये वाला जो है सर लैंड ऑन रेंट वाला जो बताया आपने सर, इसमें सर ये भी तो होता है सर कई बार कि सर जो प्रोड्यूस होती है उसका भी कुछ पार्ट देता है वो सर ऑनर को।
बेटा
नहीं वो शेयरिंग हो जाएगी, हिस्सा
बेटा
दे,
पार्ट,
हिस्से दे देंगे।
yes बेटा पार्ट, just you can say take the part of the produce that is known as sharecropping, right? That is known as sharecropping. Okay,
सर उसमें सर मनी भी देते हैं लेकिन
बेटा see beta I'm just telling you beta, let's suppose there may be beta two important things. One thing is let's suppose, right, I agree with you, let's suppose I agree with you to take 50% of, I'm just telling, 50% of whatever produce, right, whatever you will produce on my piece of land. Okay, on my piece of land. Is it okay, beta? One thing is this.
yes sir.
Okay, and beta now beta second point is that right, I decided certain amount with you, right, certain amount with you, that you gave me this much, right, this much consideration for using my land, right, for using my land, and you keep the, Jashan, I am coming to you beta, and you keep the entire produce with you.
Okay, sir.
And you keep the entire produce with you. Is it okay? One understanding is this, right, beta? Just Nishank, this was
Yes,
your
sir,
question.
Got it,
Now further beta, no beta, still it is not complete. Now beta, this particular consideration which we have agreed that you can say I will take from you, right? This consideration we may decide to be taken from you in cash, one thing, or to be taken from you in kind, right beta? Or number 3 is beta, to be taken from you partly in cash and partly in kind, right? Partly in cash and partly in kind.
what
Is it
does
okay?
kind mean sir here?
Pardon? In kind means,
yes sir.
in kind you mean crop.
Okay,
crop
sir,
instead of money, right beta?
Okay,
crop
sir.
instead of money,
सर
right?
एक्चुअली आई वाज कंफ्यूज्ड बिकॉज़ ऑफ द थिंग सर कि यूपी में सर जनरली जैसे मैंने देखा है सर वो ऐसा ही होता है सर, पार्शियली इन कैश एंड पार्शियली इन काइंड।
I'm telling you beta, I'm telling you, right? Let me give me just 1 minute please. So in this case this is the rent, sorry, in this case this is the sharecropping, right? Whatever may be the produce, it means if the produce is low, if the crop is lost, I will also share the risk along with you. Is it okay?
Yes sir.
Yes, and beta, and you can say beta, in this case beta, the risk will be on the tenant, right, cultivator, right? And beta, this is the case of rent. You understand?
Yes sir, got it.
This is the case of rent, right? And moreover beta, this is only a mutual understanding between the tenant and the landowner, right beta? And beta, they can, you can say, make an understanding any way they like, right? So there is no binding on them, no? This is between you and me only. right?
Yes,
So,
sir.
so beta, this is the point. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir. Pretty clear. Sir. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, yes, Jashan.
So I
Yes, tell
think
me.
polyhouse farming is same one.
Pardon?
Sir, polyhouse farming in which a company deals with the farmer.
Beta, yes. Beta, one thing, beta. If the company enters into the farmer, right, to pick up the produce from them, beta, then it is contract farm, right?
Yes, sir.
Right, beta. If the farmer is only doing the, you can say, polyhouse farming, right, and you can say he is selling the produce in the open market, then in that case it is not contract farming. Simple thing, beta. Right, beta. So farming methodology can be anyone, technique of farming can be anyone, right? Crop can be anyone, right? So beta, anything can be there, right? But beta, the only thing is, beta, the buyer enters into an agreement with the farmer to, you can say, purchase the produce from him,
Okay.
right? Yes, that is
Like
only the
bags?
contract farming. Pardon?
ਸਰ ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਬਾਗਸ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਆਪਣੇ ਸਰ ਪੰਜਾਬ 'ਚ ਉਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਹੀ ਡੀਲ ਹੋਈ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਸਾਰਾ ਏਰੀਆ ਸਾਡਾ ਹੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪੇ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ
Yeah, beta, one thing more, beta. Let me take the example of the garden also, right? Garden also, right? Beta, in case of garden, what happens, beta? Beta, there are two cases again here. One case is garden was raised by the farmer. Right, freely, right, according to his, you can say, freely, right, according to his desire, right, or according to his wish, right, according to his desire. One case can be that, right? And the second case can be with some company, right, comes to farmer. Let's suppose some company comes to farmer and, right, and we can say asks him to raise garden, right, raise garden specifically for it, right, raise garden specifically for it. Is it specifically for it? And it will, right, pick up the produce, right? It will pick up the produce. There are two cases now. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
And now, beta, next, beta. In this case, beta, when the garden was raised by the farmer himself, in this case, beta, sometimes what happens, in, you can say, every season, right? In every season, the farmer, right, plucks the fruit and sell it in the market. Is it okay? And sell it in the market, right, beta? And the second option can be what, beta? In every season, the farmer, right, enters into agreement with some party, right, who will pick up the who will pick the fruits, right, in his field and sell it in market, and the farmer would be paid a fixed amount per season, right? And the farmer would be paid an agreed amount, right? An agreed amount for that. Okay? An agreed amount for that. Is it clear now here? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, whose question was this? Tell me. Is it Navreet's question? Yes. So Navreet, Beta, respond please. Otherwise, I would not come to know that whether you are understanding or not. Right? So, beta, now beta, try to understand, beta. In this case, where the farmer has raised the garden at his you can say own, and then he enters into an agreement with some party who will pluck the fruit and sell it in the market for, you can say, a particular consideration to the farmer. This is again the case of rent. This is not contract farming, because the farmer didn't raise the, you can say, garden, right, on the requirement of the company, right, on the requirement of the buyer, right. And better, this is the case of contract farming, right? This is the case of contract farming. This is the case of contract farming. Is it clear?
Sir, Navreet मैंने लगा शायद left हो गए.
Okay, चलो clear. Is it clear to others? Palak, is it clear to you, beta?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and anybody else? Nishank, is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Kamal, Simran, Paramjeet?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
Right, beta, right.
Sir,
And
Navreet ਦਾ message आ गया, वो कहना light चली गई sir.
okay, no problem. And beta, who is this 485FC 5B4? Is it clear to you also? Imran, is it clear to you? So beta, this is basically the contract farm, right? So I was, you can say, expecting that, because the majority among you, right, is from the agricultural families. So that is why you must be knowing about this. Okay. Now
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, tell me.
Sir, मैं पूछना सी भी ਜਿਹੜੇ ਲੈਂਡ ਰੈਂਟ ਤੇ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਠੇਕੇਦਾਰ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਉਹ ਫਰਦਰ ਕੰਟਰੈਕਟ ਫਾਰਮਿੰਗ ਅਡਾਪਟ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਨੇ ਜੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰੋਫਿਟੇਬਲ ਹੋਵੇ ਸਰ
Beta, yes, beta, I can do. Sorry, farmer can do, anybody can do, right? So beta, there is no specific law restricting you from doing this, right? Let's suppose, beta, you are having certain land, right, beta? Right? Beta, you can say, I take your land on rent, right? And I further enter into contract with some company that I will raise, you can say, this crop on this land, and right? And the company said that yes, you raise, we will purchase it. That is the contract farming. What else is there? Right? Right? Beta, leave everything. Beta, leave everything. Beta, whether the land is, you can say, owned or you can say hired. Leave everything, right? Land can be owned, or beta, land can be hired, right? Simple thing, right? Land can be owned or land can be hired, right? The only test is that whosoever is cultivating the land, right? The only test is that whosoever is cultivating the land, right? Cultivating the land, right? There is an agreement. There is an agreement between the cultivator, right? There is an agreement between the cultivator, right? Cultivator, we can say, cultivator and some buyer, right? That the cultivator will raise crop. Cultivator will raise crop, right? According to the need of simple thing is that according to the need of the buyer, right? According to the need of the buyer, right? And the buyer will produce the buyer will purchase the entire produce. The buyer will purchase the produce, right, from the cultivator. That is the only thing, right? Okay, beta?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕੰਪਨੀਜ਼ ਹੈਗੇ ਮਤਲਬ ਕੰਟਰੈਕਟ ਫਾਰਮਿੰਗ ਚ ਕੰਪਨੀਜ਼ ਮਤਲਬ ਫਾਰਮਰਸ ਤੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਰੇਟਸ ਤੇ ਵੀ ਲੈਂਦੀਆਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ
Yes, obviously, obviously beta, obviously.
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਸਰ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਨੇ ਤਾਂ MSP ਫਿਕਸ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੋਈ ਲੈਣ ਦੇਣ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਗਾ
ਬੇਟਾ MSc
ਉਹ
sorry
ਆਲਮੋਸਟ ਮੋਸਟਲੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਇਹ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਵੀ ਉਹ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਰੇਟਸ ਤੇ ਚੱਕਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਫਿਰ ਫੈਸਿਲਿਟੀਜ਼ ਵੀ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਵੀ ਉਹ ਖੁਦ ਚੱਕਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਤਲਬ ਕਿਤੇ ਜਾਣ ਦੀ ਜ਼ਰੂਰਤ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ
yes beta first of all beta MSP is minimum support price, it is not maximum price, right? Minimum support price, right? So it means the price cannot come down from this level, right? So beta, right? So beta, I can enter into any price which is either equivalent to MSP or you can say higher than MSP, right? So beta, this is a, you can say, right? This is a lowest benchmark, right? The price cannot be below this, right? This is the MSP, right? The price cannot be below this. This is the MSP. That this much price needs to be given to the farmer anyhow, right? This is beta we can say MSP, right? And beta the above the MSP, right? The farmer can be offered beta any price, right? There is no harm to anybody. Right? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Beta, now I am moving ahead. Please tell me up to this point if anybody has any doubt. Let me clear it again. If you have, tell me, please. Hello?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay.
No,
so
sir,
now
it is.
No, sir.
Okay, it's clear now. Okay. Jashanpreet, you have raised your hand.
ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਦਾ ਹੀ ਸੀ ਸਰ ਕਲੀਅਰ ਹੁਣ ਤਾਂ
Okay. So beta, this is there, right? So it takes too much time for you to understanding the contract farming. I was thinking that that you can say there was no need to, you can say, tell you about this. You must be clear about this, right? I was actually trying.
Sir, but term nahi pata si.
Actually, sir, we all were confusing it, particularly from renting.
Okay. Yes, beta. That is the case. Now, renting is something different, right?
So we all think about that only, sir.
Yes.
Renting is a contract farming.
Yes. No, beta, that is not contract farming, right? So beta, we were discussing that contract farming in India is practiced from the, you can say, ancient times. Even the sharecropping is also contract farming, but it took a formal shape. But it took formal shape during the British period, right? During the British period, when they started, entered into contracts with farmers for raising, for producing, we can say, for producing indigo for them, right? For producing indigo for them. You must have heard about this indigo cultivation. Okay, Champaran movement of Gandhiji was against this, very much related with this. Is it okay? So beta, this is there, right? So beta, next to this, right, we can say through the medium of the next we will write through the medium of contract farming, through the medium of contract farming, right? Through the medium of contract farming, right? You can say various cash crops were introduced by the Britishers in various parts of the country, right? In various parts of the country, the various cash crops, we can see, right? It includes beta, like you can say cultivation of tea, right? tea plantations, rubber plantations, coffee plantations, right? Tea, rubber plantations, coffee plantations. Mostly tea plantations are under the contract farming, right? Rubber plantations, coffee plantations, right? Coffee plantations, okay? And you can say poppy, right? Poppy production, right? Poppy production and indigo production also, and even cotton also, because that was also required by, right? So indigo, right? So this way, right, the Britishers introduced the cash crops into the various parts of the country, because earlier than that the farmers were mainly focusing on the, you can say, cereal crops, right? So is it clear, beta?
सर ओपीएम भी तो कराया था सर चाइनीज वॉर्ड्स के लिए.
Yes, poppy opium.
Okay sir.
Okay. So beta, is it okay? So beta, next to this we can say that in modern times, right? In modern times we can say PepsiCo, right? PepsiCo introduced, right? PepsiCo introduced, right? So PepsiCo became the, let us write this, that PepsiCo became the, you can say, earlier, earliest, we can say, one among the earliest promoters of contract farming in India. Promoters of contract farming in India, right? In 1997, right, it set up, right? In 1997, it set up a tomato, you can say, processing unit, tomato processing unit in Punjab, right? In Punjab, right? Which was not even a traditional cultivator of, which was not even a traditional producer of wheat, we can say, traditional producer of tomatoes, right? Traditional producer of tomatoes, right? So then what happened? They entered into contracts with, we can say, various farmers of Punjab, right? They entered into contract with various farmers of Punjab, right, to raise, you can say, tomato crop for them, yeah, right, for the company, right, and right at and the company will support the farmers, will in return support the farmers, right? Support the farmers through extension services. Extension services, I will tell you, right? Through extension services, and will purchase the produce from them. Right? So this is an example of the contract farming, right? And next to this, we can say, beta, next to this, in 2003, Agriculture Produce Marketing Committees Act, right? Model, we can say, Model APMC Act, right? Model APMC Act was, you can say, was amended to, right? Was amended or was introduced, let us write it, was introduced to include, right, contract farming provision, introduced contract farming provision in it, right? Contract farming provision in it. So it means you can say APM Act was also, right? Sorry, contract farming was introduced in the, we can say, APM Act also in 2003. Right? So is it clear up to this point, Peter?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Though
Yes,
beta
sir.
we have discussed too much, but there is very little to write there in your answer, right? You must keep in mind the word limit also, right? And the next thing is beta, we can say though the contract farming, is very old, but it could not come into limelight. Limelight in India, right? Due to various reasons, right? So it could not come into limelight, right? That is why you people don't know that what is contract farming, right? If it could be in limelight, then I think that may not be your question today. Huh? So it must be clear to you, right? So that due to the various reasons, okay? Due to the various reasons, after writing this, we will say that reasons, right? The prominent reasons among those, right? The prominent reason among those is the, you can say, trust deficit between which remains, right? Which remains between the farmer and the buyer, right? Which remains between the farmer and the buyer, right? And cheating practices which they resort to. With each other, right? They resort to with each other, right? So that is the reason that wall contract farming could not become popular in our country, right? So let us see beta from the point of the buyer, right? Problems from the buyer's point. This is the one point, right? And second thing is beta problem from the you can say farmer's point, right? Problem from the buyer point and problem from the farmer's point, right? From the farmer's point, right? From the farmer's point. Now beta the problems from the buyer's point. Are, right? First thing is beta the farmers, right? The farmers sometimes, right, distribute the patented seeds of, right? Patented seeds of companies to their other fellows, right? To their other fellows who are not into formal contract with the company, right? Who are not into formal contract with the company, right? So this way the company became the loser, right? Because once patent has been, you can say, distributed freely by the farmer into the among the, you can say, others, right? And beta this happened, you can say, last year in the case of you can say in Gujarat, right? This happened last year. Fresh example is there. Happened last year in Gujarat, right? In Gujarat, where the PepsiCo company, sued the farmers and claimed, right? And claimed crores of rupees, right? Crores of rupees from the farmers, for breach of contract, right? For breach of contracts, right? For breach of contracts. Basically what happened there, PepsiCo company distributed there, you can say, particular variety of potato which is very much suitable for the for making the chips, potato chips, right? So beta, the company distributed the seed, potato seed among the farmers, right? For the, you can say, potato production, right? To be used in the, you can say, chips making, right? But the farmers, you can say, hold the seed of those potatoes with them, right? Instead of giving the, you can say, entire yield to the company, right? So that was a breach of contract, and for that, the company approached the court, and company claimed, you can say, crores of rupees from the farmers for that. But you can say, right? But ultimately, what happened there, with the, you can say, intervention of the government in that, the PepsiCo, you can say, had to withdraw the cases, right, against the farmers, right? And ultimately, you can say, some understanding was developed between the company and the farmers, right? So beta, this is the problem to the companies, that you can say we cannot rely on the farmers, right? Because they
सर ये
sometimes,
प्रॉब्लम फिर ਆਪਾਂ फार्मर पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू तो कंसीडर करांगे ना?
no, this is problem from the buyer's point of view.
From the buyer.
Yes,
Because problem is for them only.
Yes, it is the seed of the buyer which has been distributed by the farmers freely among you can say others, right? So one point is this, and the second point is that, right? And the second point is that, you can say, late delivery. Second point is that late delivery by the farmers, right? Late delivery by the farmers, right? Late delivery by the farmers. The second point is that, right, Peter? Late delivery. And the third point is that in case of, right, in case of price, in case of price rise, right, farmers sell the produce in the market, right, in the market, instead of giving it to the company, right? So this is also a cheating by the farmers, right? This is also a cheating by the, you can say, farmers. Is it okay, beta? Up to this point?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So these are the problems to the buyers. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So beta, now I am coming to the next point from the farmer's point of view, right? From the farmer's point of view, you can say the problems are many, right? The one problem is that you can say sometimes, right, the company, you can say, undue quality cuts, right? Undue quality cuts, right? Let's suppose I'm just explaining, right, so that it must be clear to you, because you are new to this topic, I think, right? So I was not expecting that. Let's suppose X. Palak, is it clear, beta, now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, beta, okay. Let's suppose X. X is a company, right? X is a company, right? So X enters into contract with, you can say, M, some M, right? M is a farmer, right? M is a farmer, right? So according to the contract, what is there, beta? That M will raise the crop according to the needs of the X company, right? And beta, X company will buy the produce from M, right? Right? Is it okay, beta? At a you can say fixed price, right? So now, beta, when the time of the procurement comes, or when the time of the, you can say, purchase comes, at that time, sometimes, beta, companies, you can say, start saying that the quality of the produce is poor, because there is the quality clause also in the agreement, that the quality is poor, right? the farmer has not taken care of the various diseases, or you can say pest attacks or other things. That is why, right, the quality is poor, right? And therefore the company cannot pay the agreed price to the farmer. Therefore the company cannot pay, right, cannot pay the agreed price to the farmer, the agreed price to the farmer, right, to the farmer, right? And that is why, right, that is why they make quality cuts. That is why they make quality cuts, right? They make quality cuts in the you can say agreed price. Is this point clear, beta? So मैंने आपसे एग्रीमेंट किया था, मैंने आपसे एग्रीमेंट किया था कि मैं आपसे 1000 क्विंटल परचेज करूंगा कोई चीज, राइट? सो बेटा जब आप वो चीज प्रोड्यूस करके मेरे पास लेके आए तो मैंने बोला कि नहीं, इसकी तो क्वालिटी पुअर है, दैट इज व्हाई I can pay you ₹900 per quintal. It means that is a loss to the farmer, right? So undue quality cuts, sometimes the company resort to that practice, right? So that is also. Yes, tell me.
Sir, ਇਹਦੇ ਲਈ quality standards ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ mention ਕਰਨੇ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਫਿਰ contract ਵਿੱਚ sir?
Obviously, beta, quality standards will also be mentioned in the contract, right? Yes, tell me, Kamal.
But sir, ਇਹਦੇ ਚ ਤਾਂ companies ਵੱਲੋਂ inspections ਲਈ ਵੀ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ ਨਾ ਉਹ?
Yes beta, inspection
ਫਿਰ sir quality ਕਿਵੇਂ ਪੂਰਾ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹ?
No beta, I'm telling you beta, I'm telling you that you can say how the quality got you can say gets affected, right? So beta, this is Kamal's field, okay? Kamal, right, Kamal? So beta, yes, so beta, I you can say visited your field, right, from company side, right? This is the company official, right? Company official, okay? So company official visited Kamal's field, right? And the company official recommended Kamal that you can say this is the problem which is you can say arising at, and for that right, you do so and so, right? You do so and so, right? And let's suppose Kamal does not follow the instructions of the company properly, right? Kamal does not follow the instructions of the company properly, right? And why Kamal doesn't follow? Because Kamal wants to save the money, right? To you can say to lower her cost of production. That can be done by the farmer with the company, right? Lower her cost of production, right? कई बार मेरे मन में ये आ जाता ना कि वो कंपनी वाले बोल के गए हैं कि आप इसके ऊपर मतलब पेस्टिसाइड स्प्रे करो ना, इंसेक्टिसाइड स्प्रे करो, है ना? तो मैं करता नहीं, या मैं उसके अंदर यू कैन से मतलब कम डोज डाल देता हूँ सो दैट मतलब मेरा कुछ पैसा बच जाए, है ना? सो दैट इज व्हाई क्वालिटी, द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ द क्वालिटी विल बी ऑन द फार्मर, राइट?
Okay sir.
Yes. Otherwise, because the farmer would not take care of the crop at all, right? Okay. So with the quality cuts, sometimes those quality cuts happen, right? And the next thing is with the delayed payments. Sometimes the payments got too much delay, right? Delayed payments, right? As we can see in the case of beta seed farming, right? Seed farming is a, you can say, contract farming, right? What happens in the seed farming, right? A company provides the foundation seed to farmers, right? Foundation seed to farmers, right? And the farmers, right, grow the crops from the foundation seeds, and sell that produce means seed, right? Sell that produce seeds to the company, right? They beta sell it to the company, okay? So beta the you can say current practice is that when the company picks up the seed from the farmer, the company pays 25% payment at that time, right? And beta, after that, you can say the quality check of the seed is done by the company in its laboratories, right? Or whatever it is, right? And beta, it takes, you can say 70 to 80 days for the quality check by the company. And they, you can say, do the certification of the seed, right? 70 to 80 days. And beta, rest of the payment, the companies release after the seed certification is done. Right? It means rest of the 75% is released after the seed certification is done. Right? Is released after the seed certification is done. Right? Seed certification is done. And beta, one more important thing, beta, I'm just telling you, I think you must not be knowing it. As on today, you can say contract farming is very much popular in sugarcane cultivation, particularly in UP state. Sugarcane cultivation. Nishank, it is very much common in your state, right? And
yes,
in
yes sir, meals wale kar dete hain wo.
Yes. And beta, in sugarcane cultivation, what happens, beta? Farmers, you can say, supply the sugarcane to the mills, but you can say the mills, right, don't pay them the money for, you can say, many months, right? For, you can say, 3 months, 6 months sometimes, right? The farmers' payments lying pending there with the, you can say, farms. This is a very, you can say, big issue. Am I right, Nishank? This happens there.
Yes sir, बहुत protest होती हैं इससे कि sir meal से payment नहीं हो रहा, meal से payment नहीं हो रहा.
Yes. So beta, that also happens, right, from their end. So this is quite, you can say, genuine problem of the farmers, right? So this is another problem, right? So beta, which I have discussed here, that is the delayed payments. That is one problem, right? Delayed payments. That is another problem, right? And after beta delayed problems, you can say low price due to quality considerations. Sometimes on the quality per text, you can say don't pay the agreed price, right, due to quality considerations. So that is also the problem due to quality considerations, right? And the next point is that you can say farmers have sometimes to incur. Farmers have sometimes to incur. You can say, to incur higher cost of production. Higher cost of production, right? To maintain the, or to ensure the desired quality of produce. So these are the problems to the farmers, right? These are the main problems to the, we can say, farmers, right? Main problems to the farmers. Is it okay, beta? So beta, due to you can say such various reasons, the contract farming is not gaining popularity, or could not come into, you can say, limelight in our country. Okay, beta? Is it clear up to this point? Sir. Tell me. Okay.
Sir, inflation से भी तो नुकसान सर farmer को ही होता होगा.
Inflation? When inflation comes?
Yes, sir.
Beta, wo sometimes farmers, you can say, try to cheat the company officials. Try to cheat the company.
Okay, sir. Sir, वरना सर जब price अगर predetermined है तो सर फिर तो दिक्कत होगी ना सर farmer को.
It is both ways, beta. It is both ways, beta. It is both ways.
Okay, sir. Okay. Got it.
Right. Actually, beta, if the price is, you can say, predetermined and market is offering the higher price, right, beta? Then the farmers, you can say, pick the crop, right? And they, you can say, try to sell the crop in the market directly, right? And that becomes a breach of agreement. right?
यस सर, तो दोनों साइड तो रही है प्रॉब्लम काफी।
सर फ्लोटिंग सेट नहीं किया जा सकता, फ्लोटिंग रेट?
Yes beta, so solutions can be found na.
Okay sir,
right?
Okay.
Yes. So beta, we were talking about the ordinance, right? You know, and in this part, this is the question which is before you, and in this question I told you first to we will have to discuss about the meaning of contract farming, which we have discussed, right? Meaning of contract farming, which we have discussed later. I was not aware that you can say you must not be knowing up to this extent about this, right? So I was expecting that you can say I will finish today's lecture in just you can say 40 minutes only.
सर यस, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇਹੀ ਫੀਲ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਪੋਟੈਟੋਜ਼ ਵਾਲੀ ਕੰਟੈਕਟ ਫਾਰਮਿੰਗ ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਵੀ ਕਾਫੀ ਫੇਮਸ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਸਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਇਧਰ ਏਰੀਆ ਚ।
yes. So I was feeling like that, no, but I was not aware that this will be such a big problem. So anyway, we have discussed it.
Sir,
that is good. Yes, tell me.
ਸਰ ਇੱਕ ਹੁਣ ਮਤਲਬ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਰਾਈਸ ਦੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਡਕਸ਼ਨ ਚ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈਗਾ, ਕਾਫੀ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕੰਪਨੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਰਕਰਸ ਰეკਮੈਂਡ ਕਰਦੇ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਨੂੰ, ਉਹ ਖੜੀ ਫਸਲ ਚ ਜੇ ਕੁਆਲਿਟੀ ਚੈੱਕ ਕਰਕੇ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਲੈ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ, ਉੱਥੇ ਕੋਈ ਐਗਰੀਮੈਂਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤੋਂ।
yes beta, oral agreement
ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕੰਟਰੈਕਟ ਫਾਰਮਿੰਗ ਚ ਕੰਕਲੂਡ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਸਰ?
yes beta, that is part of the contract farming, because beta, that is you can say informal contract. I have already told you in the very beginning of today's lecture that you can say sometimes the crop is decided, chosen according to the you can say wish of the company, and sometimes you can say company visits the fields, do the survey, right? And they and you can say if they find any you can say healthy crop is standing in any field, right, they you can say enter into an agreement with that farmer, right, to purchase the yield. Okay, so that is also contract farming, right? So next thing is better. So next thing I told you that in this question which was to be discussed, that why the ordinance, right? Why the ordinance? Or I told you here that right, what was the problem in contract farming? That is why this ordinance is required. What was the problem in contract farming, right? So this also we have discussed in this discussion, right? So now next is you can say that about the agreement, right? About the agreement, right? So here comes the you can say introduction of the agreement. The next part I told you that we will discuss introduction, about the ordinance, right? Ordinance, general about this, right? General about the ordinance. So as far as this point is concerned, in this point we will write that the said ordinance, right? The said ordinance has been, the ordinance has been drawn. The ordinance has been drawn from Union Ministry of Agriculture's, right? Of Agriculture's, you can say model law on contract farming. Model law on contract farming. The name of the law was, you can say, right, the state oblique UT, the state oblique UT, agricultural produce, right? Agricultural produce, you can say contract farming, agricultural produce, contract farming, right? Promotion and we can say Facilitation Act. Promotion and Facilitation Act 2018. So this was the model law, right? So this ordinance has been drawn from that law, right? And the ordinance has come in the wake of the ordinance has come in the wake of, right? The ordinance has come in the wake of the need, right? In the wake of the need, you can say the need to promote contract farming, the need to promote contract farming in the present context, right? As a measure, you can say, as a measure to improve farmers' income, right? As a measure to improve farmers' income, right? To improve farmers' income. As a measure to improve farmers' income, right? To improve farmers' income, right? According to which this ordinance enables farmers, right? Enables farmers to enter into contracts or agreements, we can say, contracts with outside entities, right? For various farm services, or future farming produce, right? Or future farming produce, future farming produce, right? So it right, it we can say it you can say first it provides a legal base, right? It provides legal base to already existing contract farming in India, to already existing contract farming in India, right? Contract farming in India by you can say ensuring the interests of farmer and buyer, right? And addressing the various issues due to which the contract farming could not pick up in India. The contract farming could not pick up to the level expected, right? Could not pick up to the level desired in India, right? So this is the general introduction about the ordinance. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, beta.
Sir, please wait for 1 minute. Don't erase.
Okay. I can wait for the entire lecture. Basically, I am here for you people only. Not an issue.
Yes, sir. We have written.
Okay, noted it. Okay. So the next point, which is important here to discuss. The next point is, we can say, ordinance in general. The next point is various provisions of the ordinance, right? after this we will say that the role of ordinance in promotion of contract farming, right? The role of ordinance in promotion of contract farming. In promotion of contract, role of ordinance in promotion of contract farming. Is it okay? So this is there next to this, right? So its role in promotion of contract farming. So here we will write that the role of ordinance in promotion of contract farming. Right, role of ordinance in promotion of contract farming. So this is the right. So I think that I will explain it here now, right? In promotion of contract farming, right? Is the whole screen visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, beta. Role of ordinance in promotion of contract farming, right? So, beta, I will, you can say, teach you this in the form of a flow chart, right? If you would have no objection, then. So, in this beta, the one thing is that, let me take here. Here is beta, we can say ordinance, right? Right. So here is the ordinance. So ordinance, right? So and beta, here is, let us suppose, here is the farmer. Sorry, agreement, farmer. Here to be written later. Agreement, right? So agreement between, we can say, agreement between the farmer and the buyer, right? Is it clear to you now? So we can write here agreement between farmer and buyer. So here is the agreement, right? Between farmer and buyer. Here is the agreement. Is it okay? So this is there, right? So beta, this is there, right? So this ordinance enables the farmer to enter into contract with the buyer, right? For the various farm services or for future farm produce, right? So this one is this, right? This ordinance enables the farmer, right, to enter into, enables farmer to enter into contract with the buyer for various farm services and future farm produce. Is it okay up to this point, beta?
Yes,
Now,
sir.
Yes, sir.
okay. So now, beta, if we talk about the agreement, there will be different important points in this agreement, right? So related with this, now let me move on, right? So here is this, right? So one important point is here, which is here. That is, we can say the scope of agreement. One point is that. Right? So I'm deleting this. So one point is beta, scope of agreement. So that is important thing, scope of agreement. Right? So whenever you face any problem or any doubt, please tell me, right? So you raised the doubt, and that is why I could be able to clear you everything earlier also. So if you may not have raised the doubt, perhaps the things may not be that much clear to you. And after the lecture, if you would say that, sir, we could not get it, that would pain me, right? So I would thank Palak for that at least Palak initiated the, you can say, action of telling me that, sir, I am not getting what you are teaching, right? So beta fail, the first thing is scope of agreement. When we talk about the scope means for what, right? for what the agreement is, right? For what the agreement is, right? The agreement is for two things, beta. One is for the farm produce, right? The agreement can be for the farm services, right? For the farm services, various farm services, or one is farm services, or second is the future farm produce. The second is that future farm produce. Future farm produce, right? So this is the second thing, right? For what? And second important thing in this is that right of, we can say, right of sharecroppers. Let's suppose I am the owner of the land, and you can say I have entered into agreement with Mr. Navreet, let's suppose, right, that Navreet will cultivate on my land, and you can say he will give me share from the crop. That is the sharecrop, right? A sharecrop. So beta, in that case, as far as the right of sharecropper is concerned, according to the, you can say, ordinance, right, the right of the sharecropper, or you can say any person who is the tiller, or you can say occupier of the land, would not be affected, right? So their interests would be kept safe, protected, right? So that would not be affected. If let's suppose I have already given the land to somebody else, right, for you can say sharecropping. So in that case, first of all, I would have to compensate that party. Only I can have, right? So their rights cannot be affected. Okay. So second beta, the second is, we can say, the second point is, that is the, you can say, term or duration or period of the agreement. Period, right? So I would say period here, right? So period. So there is both the minimum period as well as the maximum period. The clause is related to it. Right? So it means there is clause related with the minimum period. But I am talking about the agreement, right? Is everybody getting now?
Yes,
Agreement.
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, yes.
Agreement for the crop sharing, right? So beta, minimum, right? Minimum is, you can say, for one crop cycle. Sorry, minimum for one crop period, right? For one crop period, I can say. One crop period, right? Or secondly beta, or one production cycle. One crop period, right? Or one production cycle in case of livestock. Production cycle in case of livestock, right? In case of livestock. In case of livestock, right? Here in bracket we can write livestock to make it clear for livestock, right? And next thing is that maximum period. Next thing is the maximum period, right? So as far as the maximum period is concerned, that is there 5 years, right? Maximum period is 5 years. 5 years. So this is the term duration, right? Right, better. So next is you can say the parties to the agreement with mutual agreement can extend beyond 5 years, right? Parties with the mutual understanding, right? With mutual understanding can extend beyond extend beyond 5 years. Can extend beyond 5 years, right? If time taken for production cycle, or right, for production cycle or farming produce is more than 5 years. So in that case, they can extend it. Is it clear up to this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay, better note this point because I'm going to erase it to make the space for me.
Yes, sir.
Okay, better. Okay. Okay. So this is the point. So next point comes here, better. That is the, we can say, price. Price is another important factor in this. So next point is the price. Price. Right. Price. So as far as the price is concerned, one thing is that price will be fixed in the agreement. One point is that, right? Price will be as fixed in the agreement, right? At fixed in agreement, right? Whatever agreement we have entered into, we may have fixed the price. So the pricing will be according to that. Accordingly, we can say as fixed in the agreement, you can say, right? So you can say if there could be variance, sometimes it becomes difficult to, you can say, agree the price at the time of the contract, right? So if there could be variance, right? Then a guaranteed price, then a guaranteed minimum price shall be agreed upon. Minimum price shall be agreed upon, right? So that the farmer must be knowing that at least this much money I will be getting, right? I will be getting. Is it okay? And one more point with this is that, in case of, you can say, any additional price, in case of any additional price is payable, according to the agreement, right? Additional price, right? Then the prevailing price in agricultural produce marketing committee, right? Or produce marketing committee, or we can say electronic platform, right? Electronic platform, etc., shall be taken as a benchmark price. Shall be taken as a benchmark price in that case, right? Shall be taken as a benchmark price. So is it clear? So there are three important things. One is the price will be fixed in the agreement, right? And the second point is that in case of any additional price, the prevailing, you can say, APMC price or electronic platform price shall be taken as a benchmark price, right? And one thing is that if there could be variance, then a guaranteed minimum price should be mentioned there into the agreement. Is clear this point, Beta? I am going to.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I am going to erase it to make space. So this is about the price, right? So next to this price, the next point is written. The next point is that right after the price, the next important point which becomes here, that is, we can say the produce. Right? That is the produce. These are the various important things. That is the produce. Right? That is the produce. So, as far as the produce is concerned, that is the produce, right? So, as far as the produce is concerned, there are further two important things related with the produce, right? One important thing is that is the quality of the produce, right? One important thing is the quality, right? So, as far as the quality is concerned, right? So, I would say that you can say the parties will mutually agree on, right? The parties will mutually agree on. Parties will mutually agree on. Agree on what, beta? Quality, grade, standard. On all these things, they will mutually agree, right? So it will be according to their decision, according to their agreement. One is quality. Second thing is the grade. Second thing is the grade, right? And third thing can be that there is a standard. Quality, grade, and standard. So these will be things there. So standard is there. Let me write it STD. You will be understanding. Standard.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, these three things are technical terms.
Quality, grade, and standard. Yes, obviously.
Okay, okay, sir.
So they will decide accordingly that what should be the quality, right? And the next thing is delivery of the produce. Next important point here is that is the delivery of the produce, right? So one is quality, second is delivery. So that also needs to be decided. That is delivery, right? So delivery means terms of delivery. Terms of delivery will be laid down in the agreement, right? Terms of delivery, right? Terms of delivery to be laid down in agreement, right? To be laid down in agreement. So that is there as far as the delivery is concerned. So terms of delivery shall be pre-decided, right? So that there may not be any, you can say, dispute later on, right? Is it okay up to this point, Peter?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to erase it. So the next point, right here. So the next point here is after the produce, the next important point which is there, that is the sponsor's obligations, right? Sponsor's obligations. Sponsor's obligations. The next point is sponsor's obligations, right? So as far as sponsor's obligations are concerned, right? So we can say sponsor is a person who has entered into contract with the farmer. That person is known as sponsor, right? So as far as this sponsor's obligations are concerned, so here important point is that is the payment, right? Payment, because that is important thing. What is the obligation of the sponsor? Sponsor has to pay the money to the, right? So mainly sponsor's obligation is related with the payment, right? So as far as the payment is concerned, we can say, as far as the payment is concerned, we can say that it could be, right? As far as the payment is concerned, we can say that it could be in case of seed production, right? If the payment is in case of seed production, right? So what will be there? In case of seed production. As far as this case of seed production is concerned, right? In this, the you can say important thing is that 2/3 and 1/3. You must bear it in mind. I am explaining this to you. 2/3 and 1/3, right? And 1/3. So, beta, here it is important that here it is important to say that you can say 2/3 of the produce, right? Sorry, 2/3 price of the produce will be paid at the time of, you can say, picking the produce from the farmer's field, right? And the rest of the 1/3 payment will be after the certification of the seeds, and that too should not be delayed beyond 30 days. Is it okay, beta? Previously, I told you that according to the previous agreements, right, there was a 25 was given upfront, right, at the time of the picking of the seed, right, and 75% after the certification of the seed. You remember now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. But beta, according to this new ordinance, 2/3 will be paid at the time of, you can say, picking the produce from the farmer's field, picking the seeds from the farmer's field, and rest of the 1/3 can be paid, you can say, after the certification of the seeds, right? But even for that also, the buyer will issue a receipt to the, you can say, farmer, right? And that payment also cannot be delayed beyond 30 days, right? So within 30 days, that payment needs to be made. Okay. So the next is beta, payment in case of the, you can say, other produce, right? Payments in case of the other produce. That was the seed production. And this is in case of the other produce, right? So in case of the other produce, right? So beta, in case of the other produce, you can say the condition is that, right? You can say at the time of purchase, right? When should be paid? To pay full amount, right? To pay full amount, right? At the time of delivery, to pay full amount, right? Full amount will be paid at the time of delivery, right? Full amount will be paid at the time of delivery, and the buyer will issue a receipt to the farmer also. So this is in case of the other produce. This is the sponsor's obligation in this case, right? So clear up to this point?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, this is the sponsor's obligation. And the next thing is beta. There are, we can write here that the next thing is, right? The next thing is about, we can say, about the exceptions or limitations, right? About the exceptions or limitations about this thing, about the ordinance, right? Exceptions or limitations in this regard. So as far as the various exceptions and limitations are concerned, beta, one exception is that, you can say, the agreement will be exempted under any state act. One point is that, right? The agreement will be exempted under any state act. Exempted under any state act. Exempted under any state act. This is the one point, right? So one point is this, exempted under any state act. Right? And the second point here will be, one is exempted under any state act. Right? And the second point, there will be that right obligation regarding maintenance of stock under Essential Commodity Act does not applicable in this case, right? So it means Essential Commodities Act is not applicable here, right? Because essential Essential Commodities Act required Essential Commodities Act required, right, that a certain stock should be maintained, right? So the stock maintenance condition under the Essential Commodities Act will not be applicable here, right? So this is a good step, I think, from the buyer's point of view, right? And the
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, please repeat this step. ECA is not applicable.
Yes, yes, you can note it. Application regarding maintenance of stock. Application regarding maintenance of stock under Essential Commodities Act. Under Essential Commodities Act, right, is not applicable. Is not applicable in this case, right? Is not applicable in this case. This is the third point. Second point.
Yes, sir. Got, sir.
Okay. And the beta third point is agreement cannot force, right? Agreement cannot force sale, right? Sale, lease, or mortgage of land, right? So there can be no clause related with this. Agreement cannot force sale, lease, or mortgage of land. So one point is this, right? Cannot force sale, lease, or mortgage of land. Is it clear? And beta, along with this, right? It cannot force raising of any permanent structure. I'm writing here, or raising of a permanent structure by buyer. Permanent structure by buyer on farmer's land, right? By buyer on farmer's land, right? So on farmer's land, right? So a farmer cannot be compelled in this case, right? Neither agreement can force for sale of land, nor agreement can force for lease or mortgage of land, and nor it can force for raising of a permanent structure by buyer on the farmer's land, right? The permanent structure can be raised only in case the buyer, you can say, agrees that he will remove the, you can say, structure after the agreement is, you can say, over, right? So अगर आपका buyer agree करता है कि जब ये agreement खत्म होगा तो उस permanent structure को मैं गिरा दूंगा, only in that case permanent structure can be raised. Otherwise, no permanent structure can be raised on farmer's land, right? Is it clear, beta? So
Yes, sir.
Okay. So beta, next thing, beta, this is not applicable. This agreement under this ordinance is not applicable, or it does not cover the sugarcane, right? This ordinance doesn't cover the sugarcane. It doesn't cover sugarcane, right? Because उसके लिए already एक arrangement चल रहा है. This doesn't contain the sugarcane, right? Sugarcane farming doesn't contain the sugarcane farming, right? So this is there, right? For that purpose, separate arrangement is already there. So is it clear up to this point, beta?
Yes,
I'm
sir.
moving. So
Yes, sir.
So I'm deleting it to move further now.
You can erase it.
Done. So next is beta, when there is agreement, right? So next comes the pointer, that is the registration of agreement, right? Registration of agreement. So that is also an important point related with this, right? So registration of agreement. So beta, as far as the registration of agreement is concerned, according to the, you can say, ordinance, state government may notify a registration authority in the state, right? Because agriculture is a state subject. No? So here, according to the provision of the ordinance, that state government may notify, state government may notify, right? May notify, you can say, a registration authority in the state. A registration authority in the state. All right, so this is there in case of this, in case of registration, we can say, right? So that can be done by the authority prescribed by the state, right? And next thing is that beta, you can say, right, financial and insurance facilities. Next point is that the financial and insurance facilities. Financial and insurance facilities, you can say here. Financial and insurance facilities, right? So as far as the financial and insurance facilities is concerned, according to the, this, you can say, ordinance, that these can be availed, right? These can be, you can say, availed according to the various state and central government schemes, right? Can be availed according to various state and central government schemes. So that will be applicable in this case also, right? Can be availed, right? According to the various state and central government schemes, state and central government schemes, right? State and central government schemes. So that is there. So according to that, right? So can be availed. So next point, right? Right. So, and the last point in this beta, that is the dispute settlement. Because if there is agreement, there must be disputes. The last point comes the dispute settlement. Right? So last point is the dispute settlement. Okay? So as far as the dispute settlement is concerned, right? Dispute settlement. So as far as the dispute settlement concerned, so according to the ordinance, right, a conciliation board will be set up when a dispute arises. Then the first thing what will be there, that a conciliation, right, conciliation board, right, board will be set up. Board will be set up, right, with members. Board will be set up with members, right, from both parties. From both parties means from the farmer and the buyer, right? So conciliation board will be set up by members from both the parties. So this is the one point, right? So if there is any dispute, okay, if there is any dispute, it will be first referred to it. Yes, so सबसे पहले dispute यहाँ आएगा. We can say first referred to it. First referred to it, right? So if there will be any dispute, it will be first referred to it. Only after that it can be sent somewhere else, right? Go somewhere else. So this is the first point, first referred to it, right? And the second thing is that you can say agreement needs to contain detail about it. So जो भी आपका agreement होगा, उसके अंदर इसके बारे में detail होनी चाहिए, right? So let me write it here, that agreement needs to contain detail about it, right? Detail about it in agreement. In agreement. So your agreement should contain in detail about it, right? Detail about it, right? And after the decision of the conciliation board, beta, a memorandum of settlement, right, will be prepared, and that will be signed by, you can see, both the parties, and that shall be binding also, right? After this, what will happen? A memorandum of settlement will be prepared. MOS means memorandum of settlement will be prepared, right, and signed by both the parties, and it shall be binding on both the parties, right? So memorandum of, you can say, settlement shall be prepared. Okay, so beta, after this we can see, right, after this, one thing is that you can say, if the agreement does not provide a clause for this, number one, right, or if some party is not satisfied with the decision of the conciliary board, right beta, or if there is some other problem related with this, right, or if the dispute cannot be settled by the conciliary board, in that case it will go to the subdivisional magistrate, right? So it can be referred to the subdivisional magistrate, right? In which conditions? Only in 2-3 conditions, right? Only in 2-3 conditions, right? Which condition is one? First condition is that it can be referred to the subdivisional magistrate only if the agreement does not provide for a conciliation board, right? If agreement doesn't provide for it, if agreement doesn't provide for it, in that case conciliary board will not be formed, right? Does not provide for it. One thing is that, right? Or the second thing is that if the dispute could not be settled, right? If dispute could not be settled, right? If dispute could not be settled, if dispute could not be settled. So this is the second thing, right? In that case, it will be referred to the subdivisional magistrate, right? And here it is important to, it is important, beta, which is very much important point, you can say, and the order of the subdivisional magistrate will have the effect of the Supreme Court decree. So this is very, very big point, right? The order of the subdivisional magistrate will have the effect of Supreme Court decree. So this is very big point, and this is a flaw, I think, also. Will have the effect of a Supreme Court decree, right? So it will be as if thus it is the order of a Supreme Court, according to this, according to the intention of this, you can say, clause, right? So it will have the effect of the Supreme Court decree. Is it clear, beta, up to this point?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Order,
sir.
right? And beta,
Yes, sir.
and right, yes, and beta and beta, this subdivisional magistrate's order or decision, right, can only be right, you can say, carried forward to an appellate authority. Appellate authority will be determined by the state, right? To an appellate authority, right? Appellate authority, which will be appointed by the state, right? Appellate authority, which will be appointed by the state. So this is the dispute resolution, right? So first dispute will go to the conciliatory board or conciliation board, which will have members of both the parties. It is mandatory that the dispute will first go to that board, right? And after the decision of that board, a memorandum of settlement will be prepared, which will be signed by both the parties and will be binding on the parties, right? Or you can say, right? So details about the conciliation board shall be mentioned in the agreement. But if the agreement fails to mention the details about the conciliation board, or if the dispute could not be settled by the conciliation board, in that case it could be referred to the subdivisional magistrate, and the order of the subdivisional magistrate shall have the power of a Supreme Court decree. That is point. That is important point, right? Shall have the effect of the Supreme Court decree. That is important point here, right? And you can say against the order of the this, you can say SDM, subdivisional magistrate, right? An appeal can be filed with the appellate authority, which will be appointed by the state. This is the whole thing. So, is it clear up to this point, beta?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let us conclude it. Imran, where did you went in between? Wait, sorry, Nishank, where did you went in between today?
Sir, how this got disconnected in between? Sir, I was trying to enter it again and again, but it was not responding. Sir, I don't know how this happened.
Okay. So how much part of the lecture did you miss?
Sir, I think 10-15 minutes maybe.
Okay, 10. So beta, this is the whole thing, right? So all the provisions are clear to you related with this. Scope of the agreement, period of the agreement, price of the produce, right? Produce itself, quality and delivery, and sponsors obligation regarding the payment. Exceptions are there, right? 2-3 exceptions I told you. And then beta, there is a registration of the agreement. State government shall notify a registration authority. And then financial or insurance facilities under the state or central government shall be available as per the usual. And the dispute settlement conciliation board, right? If it is not, then refer to the subdivisional magistrate. The order of the subdivisional magistrate shall have the power equal to the decree of the Supreme Court, right? And shall have the same effect as the decree of the Supreme Court. And then further appeal before the appellate court can be filed, right? So it means it will not go to any court. So is it up to this point? I hope it will be clear to you.
Yes, sir. Sir, last decision would be of appellate authority then?
Yes, beta, last appellate authority.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Palak beta, ab to samjh aayi? Is Palak not there? Yes, Palak is not there.
Yes, sir. She has just left.
Okay.
She was here only, I have seen 2-3 minutes before.
Okay. Actually, I was thinking that today Palak has, you can say, put me in such a position where I have to spend so much energy. That is why I should ask Palak for some additional fees. But she left the class. Yeah? But she left the class. I think she must be knowing about that case. Sir may ask today for that. Yeah? So, chalo. So, ordinance. Right. So here it was the general about the ordinance. Right. So now conclusion. Right. As far as the concluding part is concerned, we can write here that. As far as the concluding part is concerned, we can write here that as it has been termed by the government, and as it has been termed by the government, as it has been termed by the government, right? Termed by the government, right? We can say this is a key initiative. This is a key initiative to increase farmers' income, and give a thrust to the rural economy. Right? So that is one point, to the rural economy, right? By enabling them right? By enabling them, we can say by enabling them to enter into various service agreements with third parties, right? Various service agreements with outsiders, right? Agreements with outsiders and future farm produce, right? And related with the future farm produce, right? And related with the future farm produce, right? Future farm produce. You can see this is as comment claims it, right? So in the wake of contract farming, in the wake of contract farming, right? It provides in the wake of contract farming, it provides, number one is there that it provides, number one, security, right? Security to farmers, right? Let me write here. It provides security. Number one, to whom? To farmers, right? Security to farmers. It provides them, right? And secondly, it considers the interest of, or it provides security to the sharecroppers also, because it has been mentioned that the interest of the sharecropper would not be affected anyway, right? Sharecroppers or cultivators, right? Whatever they say, of the possessor of the land, right? So sharecroppers. So as far as the farmers is concerned, right? So you can say the various provisions are related to the facility of the farmers, that is security of the farmers. That is, one is timely payment, which is required by the farmer and which is an important element of this agreement, I can say, right? Timely payment. Second is, you can say, right, a specific term of the agreement, not more than 5 years, right? Specific term of agreement, not more than 5 years. So this also protects the farmer, right? Not more than 5 years. Not more than 5 years, right? So this is there. Not more than 5 years. Specific term of the agreement. That is not more than 5 years, right? And third is, you can say, by prohibiting sale, lease or mortgage of land, right? By prohibiting sale, lease or mortgage of land. So this is also important thing, because कोई भी बाहर का बायर आके फार्मर के साथ सेल डील नहीं कर सकता, राइट? अदरवाइज फार्मर के साथ चीटिंग हो सकती है इस मैटर में, राइट? सो वी कैन से prohibition of sale, lease or mortgage, right? So इसकी prohibition है, sale, lease or mortgage. So this is the next security which has been provided to the farmer, right? And the next important thing that is there, that is the dispute resolution mechanism has been prescribed, right? Dispute resolution, right, mechanism has been provided for where the farmer will have, right, where the farmer will have, right, where the farmer will have, you can say, equal participation, right? Or farmer will have participation equal to the buyer. You can write that. Participation equal to the buyer. Equal to the buyer. That is the farmer will have participation equal to the buyer. So this is the next important point, right? So this is the main thing, security of the farmers if we take. The next is security of the sharecroppers also. So is it clear up to this point, beta?
Yes,
right?
sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. 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 And the next thing is that the government is claiming that, right? The next thing is that the government is claiming that it would not harm interest of anybody in, you can say, any way, right? The government is claiming that. The government is claiming that it would not harm interest of anybody, we can say, anyway. So because that is why, right? We can say that if it is true, then you can say there is no harm in this, we can say, right? In this, we can say, right? So beta, this is the government's viewpoint about this, right? So let us take the other viewpoints also, right? About, right? So other viewpoints about the role of this ordinance, right? In facilitation of contract farming, right? Other viewpoints. So how it will be beneficiary otherwise also, right? So number one, we can say, right? In India, we can say, in India, right? You can say this contract farming is popular and successful in sectors of poultry and sugar. In these two sectors, contract farming is common, and it is, you can say, successful as well. Okay. So this is an example of, we can say, the success of this method, right? About 2/3 poultry in India is under contract farming, right? About 2/3 poultry in India is under contract farming. 2/3 poultry, 2/3, we can say, poultry in India is under contract farming, right? Poultry in India is under contract farming, right? The reason behind this is that, right, the price of the, we can say, egg in poultry sector is determined by the National Egg Corporation, right? Determined by the National Egg Corporation, taking into consideration the demand and supply factors also, right? So it means the price of the egg is not left for the market to, you can say, decide. The price of the egg is determined by the National Egg Corporation. So this is an important point that we have given, that where it is successful at least, right? So the next thing, the next point which we will write here, that is we can say, right? That is it may help farmers. It may help farmers, right, to come out of poverty, right? To come out of poverty or debt, right? Beta, one important thing, let me tell you, beta, here, that beta, when I write government's viewpoint in the conclusion, so beta, our answer was completed by that point, right? Beta, this is the additional what I am telling you, right? Because beta, I thought today we have discussed the contract farming. That is why let me complete this question also today, right? About the meaning of the contract farming, we have already discussed in the beginning of this lecture, right? And the next thing which is lying pending in the discussion, that is the benefits of contract farming, right? And second, which is lying pending, that is the demerits of a contract farming. So after completing this, right, so your question on contract farming will also be complete, right? So beta, that is why this is, you can say, additional effort by me, right? Actually, that question is over. That question is completed. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So beta, may help farmers to come out of poverty or debt. This is the second benefit, right? And third benefit is that low, you can say, marketing risk, low marketing risk, right? And you can say prompt payment to farmers, right? Prompt payment to farmers. One is the payment security, second is the marketing risk is low in this case. So that is why this is also a plus point, right? So that will also help the farmers in this case. And the next point is that low amount of, right? Low amount of working capital, right? Low amount of working capital, right? Requires is required, we can, right? Is required as many of the extension services. Better keep it in mind. I will have to tell you about the extension services also, because many of the extension services, I hope Kamal must be knowing, we can ask from Kamal. Many of the extension services, right, are undertaken by the buying company, right? Buying company, right? So जिस कंपनी ने आपके साथ एग्रीमेंट किया होता है, सो एक्सटेंशन सर्विसेज का कई बार वही काम संभाल लेती है, और sometimes they supply inputs also. So in that case the farmer need not to you can say keep spare working capital to raise the crop, right? That much spare working capital is not required, right? And the next point is better, fifth point, it seems beneficial, we can say, in the respect that beneficial, in the respect that we can say, right, that it may lead to crop diversification, right? It may lead to crop diversification, which has so far been not possible by the government. Crop diversification, because when the companies will come into this field, right? When the companies will come into this field, they would ask the farmers to raise crop according to their needs, right? So the farmer would not need to, you can say, keep himself trapped in the cultivation of wheat or rice, right? So that is why better, if the company will be needing potatoes, right, the company will ask the farmers to raise potatoes for them, right? If the company would be needing the, we can say, tomatoes, they will ask you to raise the tomatoes only, right? So if there is some, you can say, a food processing company which is entering into contact with you, right? So better, if they need a particular vegetable, they will ask you to produce that vegetable only for them, right? So better, in this way, this will lead to, you can say, crop diversification, which is yet not possible by the government, right? So better, this way, what will happen? Number one, it will save the, right? It will save the natural resources of the country. Natural resources of the country which are at stake today, right? Save the natural resources of the country which are at stake today, right? Which are at stake today. And second, beta, it may lead to the promotion of agri-business also. It may lead to the promotion of agri-business also. Lead to the promotion of agri-business also. So this is the next important point, right? Promotion of agri-business also. So it may lead to that promotion also. So this is beta, you can say, the advantages of the contract farming, we can say, right? Advantages of the contract farming, right? So the next point is better. So the next point is what are the various, you can say, or what the critics say. That means the demerits of this contract farming, right? So better, we are completing the 2 questions today. Yeah, right? Please bear with me. I can feel that you must be tired by now. You must be in trouble, I can feel, but
no, sir.
Okay. So the next is better critics viewpoint, right? Critics viewpoint. Critics viewpoint. So as far as the critics viewpoint is concerned, it means there are some negative things also in this, which the critics have tried to find, right, in contract farming, right? We can say first thing is that in this ordinance, right, in this ordinance, there is a, or we can say the written agreement is not mandatorily required so far. The written agreement is not mandatorily required, because कहीं भी ये नहीं लिखा कि agreement must be written, right? Mandatorily required. So this is the one thing, mandatorily required, right, Peter? And neither its registration is mandatory according to the language of the ordinance, right? And neither its we can say registration is mandatory, right? Its registration is mandatory. So nothing is mandatory according to this, Peter. Neither its registration is mandatory, we can say, right? Neither its registration is mandatory, right? So beta, we can say this may create problems. This may create problems between the buyer and the farmer in future. This may create problem between the buyer and the farmer in future. Between the buyer and farmer in future. Farmer in future, right? And we can say, and any such trouble, right, affects the future of contract farming negatively, right? Future of contract farming negatively, because an example will be set, right? So if it goes against, if the tussle goes against the buyer, then you can say other companies will, you can say, try to avoid from entering into such agreements with the farmers. And if it goes against the farmer, then farmers will try to avoid from entering into such agreements with the companies, right? So that may affect the future of the contract farming. This is the first limitation. And second limitation is, which I personally feel that that you can say powers, right, equivalent to the Supreme Court, right, to the subdivisional magistrate is not justified, right? Is not justified, right? It may lead to one is malpractices, right, corruption, and misuse of power, right, misuse of power, okay, misuse of power, and may hinder the contract farming, right? Because we can say judiciary is independent, and subdivisional magistrate is a, right, part of the executive team, right? Part of the executive team means bureaucratic executive team, right? Therefore, the buyers, particularly the large companies, right? Large companies will avoid, right? Right, for lack of proper justice in this, lack of proper justice provision, right? So that problem can arise. This is another important point, right? The next point is, you can see from the study of the entire ordinance, it seems that you can say government wants to withdraw itself from any responsibility, right, of any future, you can say, confrontation or disagreement between the buyer and the farmer, right? It seems after examining the, you can say, ordinance, that government is trying to, right, is trying to withdraw from the responsibility, right, withdraw from the responsibility of, right, of indulging itself into itself into right, any tussle or dispute, right, between the two parties, right, between the two parties. So that is why that is also important, right, between the two parties. So this is again an important point, right? The government tries to avoid from it, right? And the next point is that you can say farmers have a very poor negotiation power and they are not educated, right? Most of the farmers are small and marginal. They have a, you can say, weak negotiation power. We have weak negotiation power. Negotiation power, right? And this weakness of the farmers can be exploited by the buyer. Okay, this can be exploited by the buyer to his advantage. Exploited by the buyer to his advantage. Okay, beta, to his advantage. This can be happen. This can happen here, right? Exploited by the buyer to his advantage. So this problem is there, right? In his advantage, right? So the next important point is there, right? The next important point is there. We can take the case of PepsiCo company in Gujarat also, right? Where the farmers had a bad experience, right? So you can mention here case of PepsiCo company, right? In Gujarat, where the farmers had bad experience, right? Farmers had a bad experience, right? Had bad experience. So that is the next point, Peter, right? All right, Peter. And the next point is,
sir, ਇੱਥੇ ਤਾਂ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਨੂੰ ਹੀ ਨੁਕਸਾਨ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀ ਨਾ, ਪੈਪਸੀਕੋ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਨੂੰ.
Beta, but the farmers were, you can say, harassed and everything was there, right? If the government would not be there in the picture, then in that case, beta, the farmers may have to pay the crores of rupees to the company, right, beta? So, beta, that is also there. Okay, so that is also there, right? So it is there. So beta, at the, we can say, and we can say, right, at the end we can say that, right, at the end we can say that, you can say, the ordinance is still not in final stage. I'm writing here about the ordinance now. That question is complete about contract farming, its merits, demerits, right? Ordinance is still not in complete stage. I'm writing one line only. Not in complete stage, as the ordinance speaks itself that, as the ordinance speaks itself that, we can say, right? Speaks itself that government will issue guidelines, right? Government will issue guidelines as well as, right, as well as, you can say, right, model agreement in future, right? A model agreement in this respect, right? In this respect, in times to come. So we can say that this is not yet in final stage, that is there, right? And okay, so beta this is there, right? So we can say next, the contract farming is already there, right? In the field of sugarcane, seed, you can say production, and in you can say poultry also, right? So that is, we can say, already there, right? So that is why contract farming has both sides, right? Positive as well as negative, right? If its negative aspects are properly addressed, then you can say contract farming may help the farmers, may come in way, right, to help the farmers, right? Otherwise, you can say cooperative farming can also help the farmers in a lot, to a great extent, right? Cooperative farming can also help the farmer to a great extent, you can say like that, to a great extent, right? So beta, there is one thing which I told you that I will tell you in the end, right? So that is agriculture extension services. Yes, Nishank, you have raised your hand.
क्वेश्चन का डायरेक्टिव जैसे ऊपर वाला क्वेश्चन है उसका डायरेक्टिव चेंज कर दें, इसी डेट से अगर उसको क्रिटिकली इवैल्यूएट कर दें.
Beta, your voice is not audible. Can you type, please?
Okay, sir. Let me type.
Yes, agriculture extension services.
लोग क्वेश्चन ਵਿੱਚ hallucinate ਦੀ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਤੇ evaluate ਕਰ.
एक मिनट बेटा, let me listen him, right? So actually your voice is also not proper. I don't know why. Actually, he is very fast in typing. He can do it in just seconds. So till then, anybody else can ask its concern if it is there.
ਸਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕੰਟਰੈਕਟ ਫਾਰਮਿੰਗ ਦਾ ਸੈਕੰਡ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਲਿਖਣਾ ਹੈਗਾ, ਇਹਦੇ ਬੈਨੀਫਿਟਸ ਤੇ ਇਹਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੁਕਸਾਨ ਹੈ ਸਰ, ਇਹ ਆਰਡੀਨੈਂਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਉਹ ਵਾਲੀਆਂ ਲਿਖਣੀਆਂ ਕਿ ਮਤਲਬ
no yes beta, you need to write I'm just telling you that how to make that question. If the directive changes to critically evaluate of above question, if beta there is the critical evaluation, then we will have to write the shortcomings of this ordinance also. Okay, then we will have to mention the shortcomings of this ordinance also. Okay, Nisha, clear beta? Hello.
Yes, sir, I got it.
Okay, yes beta. So then you will have to write the shortcomings also, right? So beta, agriculture extension service. Kamal, what is it beta?
Sir, it is a awareness about practices.
Yes beta. So agriculture extension services include, right? Agriculture extension services include, right? Number one, you can say scientific research and knowledge related with agriculture, right? Scientific research and knowledge, right, related with agriculture. One point is that related with agriculture, right? And number two, that is, we can say communication, right? Communication and learning activities, right? Learning activities organized for people practicing agriculture, right? For people practicing agriculture. So
new technologies, sir.
Yes, so technology. So beta, sorry, there was some internet disruption today again. So this is the point, and right, so we were discussing that, right? Beta? So agriculture extension services in developing countries, right? So last we can write that agriculture extension services.
Excuse me, sir, I'm audible.
Yes, yes, yes.
So your voice is not properly listening. Too much disturbance is there, I think.
Now? Okay.
In between, sir.
Okay. No. Previously it was okay. Hello?
Yes, sir. Previously
Yes,
it was
sir.
okay.
Only 1 minute passed.
Okay. Let me check. So look, kindly bear it for, you can say 2 minutes only, right? Because it is about to end now. We can say agriculture extension services in developing countries, right? So agriculture extension services in developing countries, right, are supported by many, are supported by, right, are supported by organizations, international organizations like World Bank supported. Second is Food and Agriculture Organization. UNO is also supporting it. So these are the various organizations which are supporting the agriculture extension services, we can say there, right? So which are supporting the agriculture extension services, right? So beta, now I think one of the students were asking that if the question is about the contract farming only, then how will we write it, right? Contract farming, right? So suppose the question is that what is contract farming, right? What is contract farming, right? Mention its or discuss its, we can say, discuss its merits and demerits, right? We discuss its merits and demerits, right? Demerits, right? And how it can be popularized, right? How it can be. Yes, beta. So
Hello.
yes,
Sir,
yes.
disconnect हो रहा है sir बार-बार.
But it is just a, you can say, minute or 2 minutes thing, no? So that is why. So beta, I was telling you that if the question is that what is contract farming, right? What are its merits and demerits, and how it can be promoted? If such type of question is there, then I have already told you that first of all, you must have to write about the contract farming, that what is contract farming, right? Little bit, you can say, background of the contract farm, right? So contract farming, meaning and little background, right? Meaning and little background, as we have already discussed today, right? Little background, as we have already discussed today, because it will be not more than 200 words answer. So this is the one point, right? And second thing, you will mention there the merits also, right? Merits we have discussed already today, right? In that you will not mention the ordinance, right? Merits. And then after the merits, the next point is, you can say, demerits there, right? The next point is demerits, right? Demerits. So we have already discussed it, right? So after that, various measures taken, right? In those measures, we can say, or you can say, how can it be promoted, right? So one, you can write about the ordinance, right? That what are the various, you can say, provisions there, right? Safety of the farmer, right? Security of the buyer also, terms, dispute resolution, because these are the various issues, right? Due to which you can say, things don't become popular sometimes, or things don't work sometimes. So the ordinance is there, right? So similarly, before that ordinance, right, APMC was also, you can say, model APMC was also introduced by the government in 2003, right, to, you can say, allow the contract farming. So that is also there, right, beta? And the next thing is that, right, the government can, or you can say, it can be, you can say, popularized by, right, by, you can say, bridging the trust gap between the buyer and the farmer, right? And you can say, addressing the various drawbacks of the contract farming properly, right? So by writing that, you can conclude your answer that way. Okay, beta. So is it clear?
Yes, sir, it is clear.
Okay.
Yes,
so anybody wants to ask anything, tell me. Nothing to ask.
Sir, please repeat both the questions.
Both the questions. Which both questions?
Sir, first question I have written, second question only, like what is merits and demerits, this only.
No, what is contract farming? Mention its merits and demerits.
Merits and demerits.
How it can be promoted, like this.
Yes, this I have written.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
And please, Paramjit, you can repeat the first question also.
Which is the first question?
Sir, ek pehla bhi karwaya hai. Sir, elucidate the role of farmers. Okay, sir, I have written.
Okay. That you can say must be written in the beginning now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, okay, beta, I'm taking leave today, right? Please give me your feedback, and we will meet tomorrow again, right? So, by till that time, right?
Sir, one question is there.
Okay, beta, tell me.
Sir, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਕੱਲ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਹੋਮਵਰਕ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਲੁਕਨੇ ਇਨ APMC regime, ਸਰ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਡੀਮੈਰਿਟ ਸੀਗੇ ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਸਰ ਮਾਡਲ APMC ਨੂੰ ਕਰਕੇ ਸਰ ਅੱਧੇ ਤਾਂ ਉਹ ਕਰਤੇ ਸੀ ਹਨਾ?
Yes, beta, you can write still. Actually, beta, still we can say there are the beta lacune. Okay, model APMC is also the, we can say, APMC, right? And the question is asking lacune in this, we can say, APMC regime, right? So there are,
okay, sir.
Right? There are still lacunes, right? So you cannot differentiate it that way, right? So is it okay, beta? So I'm taking leave, right?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, beta, I will wait for your feedback. Please take care. Okay, bye. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.